how it sounds. I think it should sound fine. Oh, by the way, I have to avoid legal snags by telling people they're being recorded. More privacy info. Click here.
I understand. I'm being recorded.
Uh, all right, brother. So, what's on your mind? Let's chat.
Well, a lot's on my mind, but now that I got you on the other line, even more is on my mind.
Oh, Norbert's on my mind. Norbert. What it is, Matthew Phillips? How you feeling?
Good. You know, it's not everybody, especially at this age. It's not everybody that I want to talk to. You're a good guy. I love you, Norbert.
Appreciate it, man. Same, same. I literally used to be a person that would go to bars all the time, hang out, and just drink. And now I would much rather not. I guess that's it. I don't even know what else to say.
You know,
Word.
part of it is I'm lazy. Like if I knew that there was a bar full of like, two or three cool cats or whatever, I'd go find them and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times I feel like these people I'm looking at, I don't necessarily want to talk to them.
I know what you're saying, man. I don't like you. I don't like your face. That's
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like I don't like drinking as much as I used to, so that's a problem.
No, agreed. Agreed. But of course, our current location prohibits the truth.
Yeah, the more benign drugs are illegal.
Oh, yeah, the one that doesn't actually kill you and may actually kind of cure cancer if you use it right.
Yeah.
But whatever, you know. I mean, who cares, man? Soju's only a buck 25, man. Go for broke.
Yeah, soju. I'm like a soju. What's it? Convert. Or evangelist. I fucking love soju.
Really?
Yeah, I mean I don't drink it that much, but like its effectiveness is unmatched.
Well, uh, I always try to figure out. I forget where it was that I read it. Uh, there are 50 million people in Korea, about right,
Yeah.
and now 1 or 2% of the people living in Korea are from other countries, expats,
Right.
emigrants or immigrants. Immigrants, yeah, not emigrant. Emigrate to leave. So whatever year it was after I came here in Korea. I read that soju was the number one selling alcohol on the planet.
Right. Right.
And I had never heard of soju until I came to Korea, and I had been to many
Right.
bars in the United States that were off the beaten path.
Right.
So I found that terrifying, man. How much soju are these people drinking, man?
That's the other thing that is so charming about it. Like you'll just be walking down the street and you'll run into one of these tents, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people just drinking away.
Just all of it, all
Yeah.
of it. I
Yeah.
saw a family of four, a man, a woman, two children, and when they left the table, I swear to God, there was about 14 bottles of soju, empty. It's amazing. If it's cold, it works, man. Shit, man.
Right.
Yeah. If you had to guess what the best-selling brand of liquor in the world was, we totally understand tossing out names like Smirnoff Vodka and Jack Daniels.
Right.
Right? Budweiser, you know what I'm saying? Even though that sucks, it's everywhere.
Right.
Only 5% of the sales of Jinro Soju come from the United States.
Right.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing, man.
And of course, probably about 99% of that 5% are Korean people, right?
You know what I'm saying? You go to Koreatown and
Yeah.
you get that $1.25 bottle of soju for $10.
10
It's,
bucks.
I swear to God, I went to a bar in Manhattan in Koreatown, and they sold me that bottle. If it wasn't 10, I think it was like $15. The
Right.
exact same $1.25 bottle, man.
Yeah. Yeah. In California, the average is probably closer to
Yeah.
5 or 6. Well, at least last time I went, it could be up now.
Probably, man. So you sent me this picture, man. The Wu-Tang Clan is opening an amusement park in Seoul. What the hell? I mean, what?
Korean people, I sometimes I marvel at some of the stupid decisions they make, and then sometimes I marvel at some of the really smart decisions they make.
Yeah.
Like they seem to be really clued up on shit, like that I don't expect them necessarily to be clued up on. I think it's a smart idea, personally.
I mean, in terms of worldwide visitors, yeah. There's definitely going to be a lot of people coming to see the Wu-Tang Clan amusement park in South Korea. But what happens after our generation dies out? You know anybody the age of 25 and under that's talking about METHOD, man? You know what I'm saying? What's going to be the longevity of this after we 40-year-olds die?
Well, I look at it a little bit differently now. You mentioned like almost, I guess, tourism, and I wasn't even thinking about it in those terms, but that's smart. Like, why would you come to Korea? There's no reason to come to Korea. It's boring as fuck here unless you like, you know, I don't know, like Korea has fun dancing, so like if you like dancing, I guess you can go to the clubs, that's fine. But like, you know, in a general sense, like Korea is a little bit boring.
Yeah. Once you get settled in, that's the same way that you feel about every place. I feel what you're saying, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you wanted to talk about, hey, let's go, you know, have some fun in, you know, Laos or Vietnam or Thailand, and then maybe you don't know anything about that, and then I start telling you, oh, well, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, we can do that. Now try to talk about Korea. What are you going to do? Well, there's only one thing you can do. You can only drink here. What the fuck?
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. And that amusement park is ass, Everland. But if you have somebody that you love, you know what I'm saying, and you go to Everland, it's a wonderful time.
Right.
You know, you hold hands and you walk through that part that looks like Europe with the fake tulips, and then you get the steak and rib combo for 25,000 won. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. I've never been I must visit all the touristy places to fill out my tourism bingo card when I've been in the country anyway. So yeah, I still dig it here though. It's awesome. I'm looking right now at the mountains across from my apartment, slightly obscured by vicious air pollution. I mean, life is good. You know what I'm saying?
But to bring it around to the Wu-Tang Clan, like I don't even listen to them that much. I don't even know that much about them. But I've heard friends talk about them, and it's like, you know, I'm sure if I went there, I'd have a good time. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm sure I'd have a good time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you sent me that link from Consequence of Sound.
Yeah.
Lake Shatz. Is Lake a male or female name? That's awesome. Lake Shatz. So, yeah, this came out last week. So, the Wu-Tang themed amusement park is currently being developed in Seoul, revealed by Jimmy Kang, the vice president of Wu-Tang Clan management. And Kang emigrated to America from Korea, and he oversees 4 clubs and an independent record label in Massachusetts. So one can imagine an entire section devoted to the Enter the Wu-Tang. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like you said, right? You didn't listen to Wu-Tang much. I tell you, man, their message is, you got independence. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stories about how to sell drugs. Some dope bars, though. You know what I'm saying? But Raekwon and Ghost, their stories are crime stories, man. With just so dense, these metaphors and similes that they use. You will listen to one song Ghostface got. We at the weed Jake. We at the weed gate waiting for Jake. We want 8 ravioli bags. What does that mean?
Sounds like slinging drugs.
You know what I'm saying? They're at the weed gate waiting for Jake. You know, somebody's selling drugs, but that's like my favorite Ghostface song. The beat is banging. But they have a real positive message though. Not for nothing. It's not just, you know, we are people who sell drugs and guns. Wu-Tang. That's not it. Wu-Tang is for the children, man. Dirty ain't lying. You get a lot of knowledge. You listen to that shit. A lot of knowledge. about how to be independent, and also the five percenters, the kind of offshoot of the Nation of Islam.
Okay, right.
A lot of that stuff is in there, man. The 85 don't have a clue. You know, the 85% of people who don't know the teachings of what's the guy's name? Something X, not Malcolm X. Clarence Little X, the third, something like that. I got to read up on that. But they drop a lot of stuff about that, man. It was actually a big thing amongst underground hip hop, and then the dudes that eventually became popular, the five percenters.
Yeah. I've run into a little bit of that here and there, and that to me always seemed really interesting because, like, I don't know, I guess I'm always into alternative ways of thinking, and like they seem purposefully like not this, not that, you know, like they're their own thing. I like that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, it is. You go the 5% nation, sometimes referred to as the nation of gods and earths. I love Wikipedia. Good God. Yeah. Clarence 13X is such a dope name. First of all, he sounds like a fighting game character. Clarence 13X versus Ryu. Fight. No, I'm being a dick. But a lot of that is in what the Wu-Tang talks about, man. That that men are gods. We're all God.
Okay. Yeah.
There is Allah, but you know, you're God because you create things, and it gets deep and beautiful when you read about it.
Mm.
And of course, I'm not doing it any justice because all I know about it is what I heard in the songs.
Yeah, I would like when I was younger, you know, like in college and stuff, I tried to only hang out with the you know, like whores and the drug dealers and the, you know, like the scum of society, right? And so I always ran into interesting people, and I like occasionally I'd run into these black guys who were talking about this kind of stuff, and you know, I just listen, you know, because that's the kind of thing where I can't add anything to that, really, you know. I just gotta listen.
Seriously, this is not, well, I disagree with you type of stuff. This is I see type of stuff. It's fascinating. Right. So I'm trying to imagine you in California smoking unfiltered Marlboro Reds, and some brother comes up to you, yo, listen, little Matty Phils, you know what I mean? Look, the black man is God, first of all, we the original man, you know what I mean? And you're just like, yes, I see. Continue. What do you think of Nietzsche?
Does Nietzsche fit into this?
Yeah, word. But the positive thing about that particular group that always had me, you know, while you listen to Wu-Tang and they're basically trying to teach you about their religion,
yeah,
that could turn people off. But the positive thing about it, when they talk about it, is it ends up just being a lot of times a bunch of cats going into a room and just trying to enlighten each other. And that's a beautiful thing. That's not really something that you hear about in Christianity, for example. And I can use that as an example because, you know, everybody's parents tried to make them go to church and do this and that. So when I would do Christian stuff, you know, you go to Sunday school, you know, it was read the Bible. And then you get the lessons from the Bible. But these cats they take knowledge from everything that they experience, everything that they read about. And then they talk about today's mathematics, for example. I always love that phrase. What's today's mathematics? And they just talk to each other and just try to expand each other's consciousness and whatnot. It's like think of it like a religious book club, but not really. It's a dope thing. And that's just the very little that I know of it. I'm probably getting a lot of it wrong, but
yeah, I think that Absol link that I gave you, he probably knows a little bit about that. I'd be surprised if he did not.
Yeah, a lot of hip hop cats used to talk about that. Some of that is in Nas, you know, Wu-Tang. So I would love to see if when they build this thing in Seoul, which is a surprisingly Christian nation somehow.
Yeah.
If they get a little section to talk about the five percenters, you know, I mean, like, what kind of places do you, what kind of exhibits could you possibly imagine would be in a Wu-Tang Clan theme park?
But now, I mean, I'm gonna have to push back a little bit because you mentioned Korea being Christian, and I guess it is in a way. Like, there's about 33% that are Christian or Catholic, about 33% that are Buddhist, and then 33% who are basically unaffiliated or agnostic or atheist or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But the Christianity here, in a way, I respect a little bit more, because if you ask your average Christian why they are in their church, they'll mostly just fess up really sort of transparently and without, any kind of equivocation or posing. They just say, well, it's like a social club.
I feel you. That's awesome.
I'm here to, I'm here to meet people. I'm here to, excuse me.
You're watching
that kind of thing. So, like, whereas in the United States, I feel like people are trying to hide this simple fact, like,
yeah.
It's like a pyramid scheme, but they don't want to tell you that it's a pyramid scheme,
It's like a pyramid scheme.
Whereas Koreans will just say, well, yeah, it's like a pyramid scheme, and I'm on the bottom right now, and whatever.
Well, I have always given credit to the dudes back home that would say, look, I just go to church for bitches, man. I'm just trying to get a broad, So I can dig that. The reason why I said surprisingly Christian is because, especially when you live out in the sticks, I've lived, in Cheongju, Chungju, Cheonan, off the beaten path kind of spots, whereas everybody else who comes here, I must live in Seoul. I will not live anywhere but Seoul. Robot expat. So I walk around my neighborhood, dude, and you could throw a rock in any of the 4 major directions and you will hit a church. It is alarming. It is alarming how many churches you can walk by on the same block, like coffee shops, yo.
Yep.
It's absolutely a hustle. When you walk on the block, there's a church across the street. A block later, there's a small church. And then 2 blocks later, there's a semi-mega church. Come on, man. What are we doing? How is that anything other than a tax dodge?
That's the other thing. Like, the tax angle. Like, Koreans I love are usually just so straightforward. Like, yeah, I do this as a business, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas, like, in the United States, I feel like people are hemming and hawing. Well, I love God. And it's like, no, you don't. You fucking just because you don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, there's no way Olstein is a better Christian than my mother. You know what I'm saying? There's no way.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm getting at.
Yeah, totally. There is no way Olstein is a better Christian than my mother, my grandmother, those people who are literally church every weekend. And when she hangs up the phone with me, she makes the sign of the cross and mumbles this kind of occult blessing. I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You think Olstein is doing that when he gets off the FaceTime with Kanye? Get the fuck out of here. Greasy bastards. Yo, man, another thing I saw, yeah?
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about the koalas?
What? Oh, yeah, I think I saw that too. They be endangered, right?
Dude, how terrible are human beings if we basically murder all the Ewoks on our planet? You know what I'm saying? How horrible is that, man? I came across another thing, the black rhinos. There was the one last rhino of that dude is also dead. Like, what's going on, man? I try to tell my friends back in the day, look, man, I know you say you don't like fish, but I suggest you eat fish while there are still fish to eat. That's another thing, It can't just be fucking country fried steak every day. Get your pescatarian on.
Well, the thing I'm a little bit mad about, and you probably picked up a lot of this from my Facebook, but like, we've all known about this global warming shit for a long time, and just
really long time.
We get promises from the various usually the Democratic Party, about, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And basically, in 30 years, they haven't done squat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember being in middle school. So that's what, 86, 87, 88.
Right.
And that's when the hole in the ozone was discovered by accident, bro. By accident. It's not, you understand? That always freaks me out.
Uh-huh.
That's the thing that always freaks me out. That, hey, you guys, did you know that your car is leaking gas and has been leaking all over the place and has been leaking for the last 30 years? And also, there's kind of a spark next to your gas tank. Oh, I didn't notice that. Thanks. But yeah, that always freaked me out that they found the hole in the ozone layer by accident. But that was a big deal, and so we used to run around junior high snatching the cans, the aerosol cans, because the white kids would always shh. What was that shit that you sprayed in your hair when you were younger to get it to be spiky?
Well, I used a bunch of shit. Like, I didn't use spray.
Really?
Yeah, like I used the best thing to use is whipped egg whites.
Oh, so it's kind of like jizz. Ew, son, that's nasty.
Yeah.
You used to, something about marry your hair. Ew.
well, that's the thing too. It would smell badly if you didn't put other things in there, or if you got under the sun for too long.
Yeah, word. That's fucking hilarious, yo. So yeah, man. I mean, if I know this as a 9-year-old running around junior high school trying to learn, donde está la biblioteca, how the fuck did the powers that be not know it? Answer, they did.
Right.
They just were getting mad paper. It's disturbing.
That's what's pissing me off more and more every month, every year. Like, these people fucking knew. Everybody knew. Like, go back to 88. So I'm 17 in 88.
Yeah.
My parents are 30 years older, so they're almost 50 at that point. When you're 40, you don't really have any power, but people who are 50 and 60, they have power. They could have done shit.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Mm-hmm. This is what it is, man. You got The Guardian. I dig The Guardian, man. It's got some good stories. November 5th, 1965, climate scientists summarized the links associated with rising carbon pollution in a report for LBJ, all the way.
5.
Like, how depressing is that, man? And then there was that those headlines that were running a couple of years back that the Exxon papers were revealed that, oh yeah, actually the dudes were telling Exxon, all this carbon is actually not good. It's gonna actually heat this shit up. So every president since that time, since at least JFK, LBJ.
Right.
Oh yeah, so this is it's toxic. It's gonna kill us. And now we're losing the Ewoks, man. We're losing the koalas. It's just dark, man. Yeah. It's dark. So how's things other than that?
Okay, so this leads up to a couple questions for me. I got you.
Break it down.
So I guess I feel like in the past 5 or 10 years, things have actually really changed in a big way. Like, if I compare 1988 to 1993, 1993 to 1998, 1998 to 03 or whatever, to 03 to 08, these 5-year increments, and it feels like the acceleration and the madness and the chaos and everything has really stepped up in the past 5 years or so. Would you agree with that?
Man, look, the explosion of knowledge and the access to information, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because what you're especially that time from 93 to 98.
Yeah.
Because there's always been a small subset of the population that had access to the quote unquote internet, or at least communication with each other without phones or paper. You remember War Games, that modem, that modem that he had, that you would take the receiver and put it on.
Early 80s, yeah.
Yeah. So by 97 is when I was in college, 2 years out from graduating, and that's when I got my first ever email account, Yahoo.
Right.
And that's when the internet really started to bubble, and then you had the alt dot chat rooms and stuff like that.
Right.
Your mailbox being flooded with free AOL the CD.
Yeah.
So basically, all of this knowledge, man, and access to knowledge, and now with the rise of social media, the access to the social media platforms that enable you to expand and amplify your message, whether it's good or bad, truth or lie. This is where that chaos comes from, man. Because you used to just be a sick freak masturbating to the old ladies catalog in Sears. But now, thanks to the internet and social media, hey, I also like masturbating to the old ladies catalog in Sears. And here are some photos, So you used to think that you were a weird degenerate.
Right.
But now you find out that, hey, everybody's actually a weird degenerate. And so shame is gone. Shame has disappeared. The Instagram influencers, I mean, it's one thing to be somebody who, I use a Prada bag. That's fine. That's what celebrities do. They try to hype shit. They get money to sell shit. But, oh man, not the way that shit is going now. There is something wrong, man. Something is definitely wrong.
Well, and a related idea, like I used to think in the 80s, for example, that the media, like CNN or whatever, something like that, was bad, like noticeably bad. But it got worse in the 90s, and then it got worse in the aughts. And then it got worse in the teens.
Yeah, man. The Fairness Doctrine and the Telecommunications Act passed when I was in college.
Yeah, that was 97.
So that was a big deregulation, and then before that, Reagan got rid of the Fairness Act. So no more balanced, quote unquote, balanced news.
Right.
And then that movie Network that explains why the news sucks was telling people this is why the news is going to suck. And it's been pretty accurate, and that was supposed to be a satire.
Right.
And you watch that movie now, and none of it seems like satire.
Right.
So yeah, what you're talking about that happened with media and the fact that things seem worse is because we have access to more information than ever before in human history at the tip of our fingers, but people don't want to vet shit. People don't care if it's true or not. And so whatever fits my narrative, it's media a la carte, man.
Okay. So you cannot mention aggregators. Who are your top 3 news sources?
Wow.
You can mention individual journalists or news sites or whatever, but.
Wow. I mean, you got me right there, because I go to Reuters, like you say. Would Reuters be an aggregate though? Because Reuters, Reuters and AP.
I'm talking more like, what is that called? Like Huffington Post. That's an aggregator.
Yes, that's right. Huffington Post is an aggregator. Flipboard, that's an aggregator.
Yeah.
Dreams, that's an aggregator. Counterpunch, and those are all things that I read. But non-aggregate sites, I pretty much try to check all the major news outlets.
I would slightly disagree with you. Like Counterpunch and Common Dreams, they carry content from other places, but they're not primarily aggregators. Not in my mind.
I've always found that the in-house stuff that they have is very, or maybe that's changed. But when I started going to that website, Common Dreams in particular, I would say less that Counterpunch is not as much an aggregate, because it used to be a magazine.
Yeah.
But Common Dreams in particular, man, they get news from anybody. People just Tom Hartman, he has his own stuff and he submits stuff to Common Dreams. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with you. I see what you're saying, man.
Well, so anyways, if you got to mention a few news sources, what top news sources, most important, like if you had to rank them, what for you? What is it? I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay. So recently, I really love Max Blumenthal, Taibbi, Matt Taibbi, Ben Norton, Michael Brooks, Kitty Halper, Brianna Joy Gray, Megan Day. And then places to go. Of course, Jacobin's very good. Yeah.
In terms of specific names, I love what Jimmy Dore does.
Yeah, he's good.
And to watch him go from the Young Turks to just full on left wing Alex Jones, quite honestly, has been a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful thing.
I agree, totally. We've needed our own Alex Jones for a while.
Seriously. And he is batshit, and those live shows he does, the impressionist guy he has is hilarious. So, Jimmy Dore, I pick and choose from the Young Turks.
Yeah.
Let's see. You mentioned Taibbi. I like to read him too. Patrick Coburn.
Okay, there you go.
I dig that stuff. I will try to read whatever Nader writes if it comes across the wire. Richard D. Wolf. I dig his economic stuff.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in New York, I used to read a lot of that guy that's an economist that has the beard. He writes for the Daily News. He's supposed to be a lefty, but he's really not. Jesus, I forgot. What's his name?
Stiglitz, Joseph Stiglitz.
Not Stiglitz. God damn it. I forgot his name. He used to be in the the New York Times all the time. He's an economist.
Yeah.
I haven't read his stuff in a long time though. Even when I was younger, I would read U.S. News World Report. I would just read stuff from Krauthammer. I didn't even know that at the time, left, right, center.
Right.
But I read what Krauthammer used to say. George Will.
It's funny. These people I thought of as back then. I thought of as a little bit wingnut type like. But now they're like they seem pretty fucking rational and compared.
Can you imagine George Will is not as right wing as what's going on now? Right. And he died, right?
I'm not sure. Did he?
Oh no, Krauthammer died.
Yeah.
Before I knew about his more extreme views, I read some Pat Buchanan shit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you. Well, yeah, no, he is batshit. Yeah, that's the reaction. That's right. But growing up as a kid, I used to read U.S. News and World Report a lot, and Newsweek.
Yeah.
And so you get the journalists from there, and you kind of follow them. And then as you get older, you realize, okay, these motherfuckers are actually crazy.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are always defending every single fucking war.
Word. There is no war that they don't like, man.
Right.
There is no war that they don't like. There is no quote unquote government handout that they're not against. It's just damn, son. I mean, how many people did you know growing up that at the time thought Reagan was cool?
Well, I lived in Orange County, which was sort of like Reagan country.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Arrested Development town. Yeah.
And yeah, so in the mid 80s, like a lot of people were quite enthusiastic about him, but I was already basically a communist by 16. So
yeah, dark man. That's right. Yeah. You're
so I would tell people, you're a fucking bootlicker. Shut the fuck up.
You're a bootlicker. That's very specific.
And like they would wave their fucking flag in front of me, and I'd just be like, you are fucking just doing what your daddy tells you, shut the fuck up.
Yo, man, there's nothing more anarchistic calling somebody you're a bootlicker. You submit to the will of the powers that be. You are a bootlicker. I love that shit, man.
I like when I can get Norbert to laugh.
Yo, bootlicker. Rebel scum. Like that's the reply, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're a bootlicker of the empire. Rebel scum. Yeah. And then get hit with the butt of the gun. Yeah.
But it was pretty cool to be that age at that time, because by 86, 87, Reagan was unraveling.
Right.
With Iran-Contra. And so all the enthusiasts, I would shove that in their face and be like, well, yeah, what do you fucking think about that? And that shut most people up. But some people, of course, they'd double down and they'd be like, Oliver North is a hero.
Oh, what are the odds that that's this exact same shit that's happening right now with this guy, Bill Barr?
I'm not super watching that carefully, but there are weird fucking parallels definitely all over the place.
I haven't been watching it carefully either, because I need some windows of light basically in my consumption, but the guy Bill Barr is the advisor. He used to be the advisor for, I think, Bush, the father.
Yeah.
And he told Bush, we'll get rid of all this Iran-Contra shit. Nobody will be indicted, and you just pardon whoever gets caught. And now Barr is the head of the Department of Justice, and every time they try to get, hey, these motherfuckers are not answering the subpoenas, and Barr's like, cool, man, let me check my Facebook though. Like, he doesn't do anything. It's just nakedly corrupt, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
But I've come to the decision that probably fairly unpopular opinion that Trump is actually the lesser evil, probably, if I had to choose Clinton and Trump. Trump is a shit stain, of course. He's horrible, but and hard to defend. But if I need to defend him, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. He fucking probably better than Clinton's horrible. She's horrible. I have nothing nice to say about her. She's horrible.
I don't like either one. That's where I won't say that one is worse than the other, because I think that they've all been fucking shit. And I remember one of my friends was crying when Obama got elected, and I said, listen, it's nice to see a brother get the White House after all the things that black people have been through. But I mean, Rahm Emanuel is on his team. That guy's not friendly to community organizers. What's his name? The guy that ran for vice president, Lieberman.
Yeah.
Lieberman is a big deal with Obama. That guy is not the healthcare agent of change you think he is. And then lo and behold, Romney Care passes. And then nothing gets done for the next 7 years. And it's just, the dronings, the fucking deportations, the record number of deportations.
I have to fess up having been hoodwinked pretty hard by Obama for longer than I would have, in retrospect, have liked. I was hopeful that he would, do some decent shit. But once we got to like 2010 or 11, I thought to myself, no, this guy ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah. And there's absolutely some blame to be laid at the feet of the fact that, after the end of the first year, they lost control of the House and Senate.
Right.
And so, and then McConnell and the guy before him, Boehner, they were just like, fuck you, Obama, we're not passing shit.
Right.
That is a thing. That is a thing.
Hold on. Okay, that's fair. But on the other hand, when Congress wants to act, they get shit done in a week or two.
I was just about to say, that's right. That was going to be my counter to the counter. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I don't want to be too tough on Obama. He definitely had some unique challenges, but
he did, and he did do some things, but just I mean, here we are. Yeah. So yeah, he had the House and the Senate against him, but at the same time, if he wanted to ram through the actual single payer healthcare, he would have.
yeah.
And he didn't. And that to me was, well, that's all, folks. That's all, folks. Bush, remember when Bush had control of the House and Senate? Tax cut. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. The whole country is like, nah, don't do that. Okay, I got a mandate. Tax cut, re-election. Let's go. And every time the Democrats get control of the House and Senate, yeah, we should contemplate, what do you got in the center there? Let's do some centrist shit.
It's centrist now, but it was right wing 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why they could never get control of the House and Senate back. Because he ran like he was a populist and a lefty, and then when he got in office, he did centrist shit. Well, so people are like, fuck it.
For decades, the Dems actually had majority control of the House and the Senate and it would occasionally dip back into the other column, but yeah, for decades, Dems had those two houses locked up.
Yeah, that's right.
But then they, in the 80s, they basically became Republican light. So
yeah. And Clinton, Hillary, she definitely was just too much triangulation, man.
Yeah.
And you became unsure as to, is she being real now?
Mm.
And these rumblings of hers basically dipping her toes in the water. People are telling me I should run again. I was stop playing with my emotions, bitch. Come on.
Yeah, there's like a technocratic, like 8% of people in the nation who, they fantasize about Hillary being president. And yeah, so there are some people who are probably whispering in her ear, but like that's it. They're technocratic people who make minimum 200,000 a year.
See, I feel like there are people who got the wrong idea about civil rights and equality of the sexes. Because whereas when people during the first half of the fucking 20th century, people are saying, I can't go outside my house without getting lynched. I can't get a cup of coffee without getting the shit beat out of me before I get the sugar, And people, okay, that's civil rights. Women are getting raped and whatnot and being taken advantage of because they're women. Yes, that's right. They should be equal. And so affirmative action, the centuries of what happened to black people and the shit that's still going on now with the redlining and the discrimination. And if the black name is on the resume versus a white name, the exact same resume, the white name gets hired. So yeah, affirmative action, why not? But now those motherfuckers, you have the brother and the sister. Well, you let him do that. Why didn't you let me do that? That's not how this shit works, man. Just because Hillary's a woman doesn't mean that, yeah, we should elect a woman. Not that one.
Right.
There's got to be a different woman. Nobody is. There are some people who absolutely are, women can't be president because they have periods. Ha 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 ha. That's not what we're saying, man. Not that woman. Women comprise most of the population. There's got to be another woman. What do you think about Warren?
I think the main problem she has is quite similar to the main problem that Hillary Clinton had, and that was Hillary wanted to portray herself as mildly progressive, and basically she's not.
Yeah.
And as long as Bernie is in the race to provide a contrast, the Warren's attempt to paint herself as progressive is gonna not be all that convincing.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't have a movement behind her, and that's her most recent push. She's I think her PR people have noticed that people are in a mood and they want a certain type of thing, and so the PR people are pushing this idea that Elizabeth Warren is really about movements, and so the problem there is, like, that's a great idea, and if she's really truly behind it, then I'm behind her too. That's fine. But the problem is she doesn't have 40 years of history to, to back up this claim that that's what she's about,
Yeah.
And as long as there's Bernie in the race, who does have 40 years or more of this kind of support and work, then people are going to say, do I want the person who just got on this bandwagon about a year or two ago, or do I want the guy who's been doing it for the past 40 years?
No, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. She used to be a Republican, is that not right?
Yeah.
But then she switched over, and Obama put her in office for the consumer. What was that thing, man?
Protection Board or something.
That's right, and that was doing some good work.
Yeah.
But it was also constrained because you can only have so many breadcrumbs, plebeians. So they tried to do some things with freeing people up from credit card debt and bankruptcy. Like, that would have been a huge thing if Obama had reversed what Bush did with bankruptcy. Bush basically got rid of bankruptcy for most people.
Right.
Just, God damn it. I want to be happy though. What should I do? What is there anything cheerful for us to talk about? I don't know.
Well, I think cheerful is in the eye of the beholder.
There it is, man. Eat the rich. I got you.
Yeah. That's cheerful for me.
Break out the guillotines, my brother. There it is. All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man. I'm going to go now and take back some videotapes.
All right. Have a good time with your Sunday, and we'll talk soon.
You too, brother. Peace.
Okay, peace.